to episode 4 of the Happiness Party podcast. My name is Andrea and I am coming to you from Aurora, Colorado, where it has been pretty cold for the last week, but nowhere near the kind of weather that a lot of the rest of the country has been having. So if you are in one of those places that's experiencing unexpected weather, I hope that you are staying warm and safe and that the storm system passes pretty soon. I don't know if you can hear that. Zeus has been locked out of the office and he's not happy about it. I might have to get up and let him in. Oh yeah, he's mad. Okay, we're back. We're gonna see how this goes. Hopefully he does not knock the tripod over. So, I have been knitting these past couple of weeks. Why don't we look at what I made? The first thing that I made is another hat. This is also for the charity knitting pile. This is called the Ade Beanie. It's by Ola Ogunlalu. And Ade, according to the pattern page, means crown or royalty in Yoruba. And if you, it's coming out nice on the camera. You can see that with clever girder ridges, he has made the shape of a crown on this hat. And I just thought it was so cute. So this hat is made with Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick for both the hat and the pom-pom. It was really quick. By the time I realized I was knitting it, I was already done. And then I just made the pom-pom tonight. I do have one of those Clover pom-pom makers. I'm not the greatest pom-pommer in the world, but I think that one turned out cute. Kind of a little more egg-shaped than round, but that's all right. And then to attach the pom-pom to the hat, I used a piece of kitchen cotton to tie the middle of the pom-pom. And then I threaded that through the hat and then threaded it through a button, which you can kind of see there. And then tied the cotton in a double knot around the button. So the button presses against the pom-pom and keeps it from being too floppy, especially considering this is quite a large pom-pom. This is a super bulky yarn. And then if you ever want to wash the hat, but you don't want to put the pom-pom through the wash, you can take the pom-pom off. So yeah, I think it came out pretty cute. I like it. After I finished the Ade Beanie, I moved on to one of the patterns that I talked about on the last podcast, and that is the Palmistry Mitts. This is a pattern by Stephanie Lotman, who's also known as Beanie Knits, and I was inspired to knit some of these because someone that I follow on Instagram had knitted multiple pairs of them all in a row. And I thought they looked really cute, and they seemed like they would not be too fiddly in the thumb region, about which a little more later. I actually wondered, do you knit the same pattern over and over, or do you tend to knit something once and then move on to other things? With the exception of plain vanilla socks, and I think I've knitted Hermione's everyday socks more than once. I tend to knit something just one time and then move on to new patterns. But I successfully made a pair of these, and they were quick and easy and fun. So I might have to break that habit of only knitting a pattern one time. And here they are. Out of the stripy sock yarn. They're so cute. They've got cat hair on them. No surprises there. And they look little teeny small. When I made the first one, I thought, oh no, that's not going to work at all. So the pattern, of course, has you measure the circumference of your hand. And my hand right here is 7¼ inches. So I used the size recommended in the pattern, and then they came out so small and wee. But I was happy to find that after I knitted them, they fit perfectly, actually. The negative ease is really nice. They do fit quite snugly, which means that they'll be good for, I think they'll be good for wearing indoors. I think they won't hamper my movements if I'm cold and I'm trying to type or look at my phone or whatever. And then I can easily wear them under some of the heavier mittens that I have if I want to wear them out. So there they are, fitting perfectly. And I even got the stripes to match up, which always makes me really happy. Even on the thumbs. I mean, they're not absolutely the same, but that's pretty darn close. So I'm really happy with these. They didn't take hardly any yarn at all. The size I knit is the next to largest size in the pattern, and I weighed these when they were completely finished, and both of them together only weigh 30 grams. So what a great pattern for using up the end of a skein of sock yarn. I did knit these on size 1s for the ribbings and size 0 for the stockinette portion on the palm. And like I said, I think I may make another pair of these, because who doesn't have little, odds and ends of sock yarn lying around? And what a great way to show them off. I think they're really nice. The thumbs I wanted to talk about, and there's a story. Years and years ago, it's probably been a decade at least. Yeah. I knew someone who had a booth, and in that booth they sold knitted goods. And I knit for sale in that booth about 11 million pairs of fingerless mitts. That's a slight exaggeration, but not really. It was a lot. And I knit them with big box store acrylic on, I think I used maybe a size 10 needle, maybe a 10.5, because I wanted to be in production and make a whole lot of them. And the thumbs on 10.5 needles were such a pain in the rear that honestly, I avoid patterns with thumbs in them. Isn't that terrible? You would think I would have gotten over it by now. But no, still every time. I can knit the hand part fine. And then it's time to pick up and knit the thumb, and I get a dread inside me. But these thumbs were not hard. They were not an ordeal at all. And I really like the finished product. So I can highly recommend this if you're looking for a very quick, simple, use up not too much yarn, but I think they'll be really useful. I would really recommend this pattern. It was very clear and easy to follow. So, the cat's on the move. I hope he just takes over my chair and doesn't wind his way past all the cords behind the camera. So as I was saying, the Palmistry mitts. The pattern also comes with a version for full mittens, as well as these fingerless mitts. So the weekend before last, we got out of the house and went over to a little town that's called Golden, Colorado. It is on the west side of Denver, and it's a really pretty little town. It's got a river running through it and a nice little historical society type area beside the river. And I got some footage of that and of some of the many sculptures that are all around the town of Golden. We did even come across a man who was playing the fiddle on the road, and I was waiting to ask if he would mind if I took some footage of him for the vlog. And before I could ask him, the wind kicked up so much that he broke off mid-song and put his fiddle away, and everyone on the street had to run for it, and sandwich boards were falling down, and It was like a tiny, a tiny hurricane down the main street there. So unfortunately, I did not get any footage of him, but it was so nice to hear someone play music live. I realize I have not heard that in a while. So I will try to approximate the mood with my background music. This is the color block beanie, or most of the color block beanie so far. This is a pattern that is by Ottoman Indigo, that is clear board shirt, and I am making it with Knit Picks Mighty Stitch, which is a bulky weight acrylic and wool blend. This will be another hat for the charity basket. Let's see, I knitted this on. I'm knitting this on a US 6 4mm needle. And this was a great sort of palette cleanser between knitting the palms and the thumbs of the mitts. And it was very satisfying. Don't you just love, it's like 1 by 1, it's a free pattern. I just love the orderly nature of some nice 1 by 1 rib. It's just simple, it's well behaved, it does what it's supposed to be doing. It makes a nice squishy fabric, and it's, I think, real good for a charity knit, or maybe a knit for someone whose head size you're not completely sure of, because of course it is super stretchy, so it's going to fit just about everyone. So once I finish the orange portion, I will make a pom-pom for the top of this in some more of this bright blue Mighty Stitch. So this has kind of been my don't want to think about it too hard knitting, though I might be getting close to the point where I need to start thinking about crown shaping. Maybe. I don't want to make it too long. But yeah, the color block beanie. I'm hoping by the next podcast this will be a finished object. I do have one more work in progress to share with you on this episode, and that is another sweater. As I mentioned, it's been kind of colder than usual in Colorado the last little while. And I just finished that South Bay sweater and I have worn it a lot. I almost wore it again today, but I thought since I wore it on the last podcast, I didn't want the thumbnails to look exactly the same. Maybe that's a silly reason, but it's an excellent reason to have cast on another sweater, and that is what I did. The sweater is called Rhys, and it is by Kat Liddell. The Wayward Knitter is the name of her patterns. Of course, I'll link all this stuff below. And it is a boxy, cropped, long sleeve textured sweater. And I'm making it out of this yarn, which is not shown to its best advantage because there's a big sales sticker right over the label, but it is Ella Rae Classic Superwash. That's 100% superwash wool, and it is a worsted weight. And I got it for $3.99 a ball at a Tuesday morning. So this is the yarn that I am knitting with for my sweater. It is like the last sweater I made. It's also a superwash, but it feels a little toothier than that yarn. That was Knit Picks Swish DK, which was very silky and soft and grew quite a bit during the blocking. And I'm wondering if between the slightly toothier feeling of this yarn and all of the texture in the pattern, if it's not going to grow quite as much, but we shall see when I'm finished and blocking it. I have a feeling that the more sweaters I knit, the more I'm going to learn about knitting sweaters, which is a tautology, but there you go. So I believe the pattern calls for 6s and 7s, or maybe size 7 and 8 needles. But I knew, because I am a really loose knitter, that that was not going to work for me. So I made an enormous swatch, and I did half the swatch on a 6 and half the swatch on a 5. Then I blocked the swatch flat because the sweater is knit flat and then seamed together, and I measured it. And I had exactly the same gauge with both the 5 and the 6, and they were both too loose for the sweater. So I did a little bit of math, and I figured out that if I used a 5 and knit the size down from what I had planned, I should pretty much hit the recommended positive ease for the sweater. So I've cast it on and hope for the best, and here is my progress so far. This is the front panel, which starts off with some ribbing. It's got a section of stockinette, moss stitch, and then like a welting pattern that goes up the front. This has gone pretty quickly. I've only cast this on maybe 2 days ago, and here's my progress so far. It's been nice to knit. I really like the amount of attention I need to pay to it, in that part of this is stockinette and the patterns are very simple, but I do need to pay attention to which row I'm on so that I don't do what I did last night when I was knitting right before I went to bed. Probably should have stopped, which is that right there. You see that? That's not a welt. That's where I started knit one, purl one, like I was still in the moss stitch section. The moss stitch section. But I decided that I would go to bed, and then on the way back I will drop down and fix those stitches so that the pattern is maintained. I also want to show you the beautiful progress keeper that I'm using on the sweater that I love so much. This is another work of art from Maria of Forest Charm. I hope that's focusing. Do you see that that is a little crow made of stone? There you go. And he has a little gemstone bead. And I'm using that to mark my progress and also the right side of the work, and really enjoying it, as I always do, all of the things that I've been lucky enough to get from Maria, because her stitch markers and progress keepers are really beautiful. So this will be my main project until we speak again. I'm really hoping to make good progress on this and get it finished. I don't know if I can get it finished by the next podcast, but the one after that, if not. So that's my progress on the Rhys sweater so far. I like the color too. I was a little worried about how it was gonna look against my skin, but who doesn't love a yellow sweater? Everyone loves a yellow sweater. And it's time once again to look at what came in the monthly subscription from Row One Yarns. I know that a lot of other podcasters get this subscription and they have already opened their yarns, but I've been fast forwarding through that part of the podcast. So just on the off chance that you have not already seen these being opened by somebody else, I'm going to open them up here. So according to the information sent, this month the yarn comes from pretty close to home. The dyer this month is called Threadhead Knits Company, and they are from Johnstown, Colorado. I have to say I'm not exactly sure where Johnstown is, but I'm going to look it up. And we get 10 samples of their 80/20 superwash merino nylon fingering weight yarn, which is called Squish Sock. And I can see through the bag that these are going to be some amazing bright colors. Can you see that? Can you see that crazy hot pink? So I will get rid of the crackly parts and let's have a look at this yarn. Okay, I have all the skeins here. Let's have a look. These are wild. This is just what everybody needs in the middle of February. Oh, that's called Lisa's Trapper Keeper. That's perfect. Perfect in every way. This one, Violetta, that'll go in my purple yarn collection for my eventual purple blanket. Oh my goodness. Coralicious. There is no way that you are seeing how bright this actually is. This is like a... That might do it. How did they even make this color? It's like a miracle. Oh, this is taking me back. It's like middle school. Ooh, this one's called Mystery Machine. That's fantastic. It's got little, I might blow it out, but can you see? There's like orange. There we go. It's perfectly Mystery Machine. That's astounding. This one's called Barbie Car. Again. So bright. Ooh, I love that. That's called Disco Monarch. That one's gorgeous. I really like that. Ooh, Labyrinth. Now I want to watch Labyrinth. This one's called Vinyl's Not Dead. I'm too bright, I think. There we go. Kamikaze. And Voodoo. So that's it for the things I have knitted, the things I am knitting, and the yarn that's come into the stash. I don't really have any plans for what else I'm going to cast on before I see you next. Mostly I'm just thinking about that Rhys sweater and getting it finished as soon as possible so I can wear it. Just like the South Bay sweater, I kind of have an idea of what I want to wear it with, which is nice. I'm not extraordinarily fashionable. I don't usually put a whole lot of thought into what I am wearing, particularly now that no one sees me except for you guys and Leah. But there's just something about making a sweater, I think, that is causing me to think about all of the other things that I have that might go with it, especially because this is a shape of sweater that I don't have any of. I don't really have anything that is cropped or that is boxy. So I'm really hoping that the idea I have of what I'm going to wear it with comes out in real life like it looks in my head, but we shall see. That's how I maintain excitement in my life, is knit things that I'm not sure are going to work on me. So, all that to say, besides that sweater, who knows what I'll get up to until I see you again. But until I do, I hope that you are staying warm if it's cold and staying cool if it's warm, and that you're able to reach out to family and friends and have a nice conversation with somebody who maybe you haven't seen in a while. I had a chance to talk just a little bit with a friend that I don't see, and it was really nice. I remember how nice it is to talk to other humans. But until I see you again, I hope that your knitting's going well and that you are taking good care of yourself and the people you love. I'll see you in 2 weeks, and until then, party on.